Where you going at? John.
We gotta get that time out.
No, that's.
Do we rise for the pledge? Also, please turn on mics. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we give thanks for our democracy alive in our country and for the freedoms to worship you. Help the elected government and all in position of power and authority to govern wisely and for the common good of all. Amen.
So we'll call the meeting to order, and we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Resnick is not here yet. Mr. Braun?
Here.
Chair is here. Ms. Borelli? Here. Mr. Gorman is not here. Mr. Cannon? Mr. Swan?
Here.
Mr. Fagioli? Next, we have citizens' participation. If you have comments on any agenda items, you may come up and address. You have a 3-minute. Please give your name and address at the beginning.
How you doing? My name's David Bilbo, as I'm sure you all know who I am. I'm just addressing the permit parking behind my house again as well. Came in this morning for 2 permits I was hoping to get. I was only able to obtain 1. But I mean, all of us residents have a lot of concerns over. We're just recently ticketed. I know that it was supposed to start January 1st, and when I left Chambers last time with the concerns I had, these guys said you were going to that review them in committee and then, come up with a solution. Evidently, I don't know if that's happened or hasn't happened, so I'm just here for like an update on where we're moving on that and how we can move on that.
Initially, when you were here last, we said that we were going to review.
Right,
At that point, after you were here, we had only received 1 application
right.
for parking.
Mhm.
And then we kind of said that we were going to keep the situation fluid and
Right.
evaluate it as it comes. Basically, it's something that we're monitoring and that we're open to.
Okay, so as we monitor, are we still going to receive tickets as citizens, or,
Well,
as people that need to use that parking space? Because it happened to us, we already received a couple parking tickets.
yes. So my understanding is that once it started January 1st is when they were going to start issuing, they expected people to start using the Park Mobile. But as far as how many permits and so forth,
Yeah,
That was
we haven't
something-
come up to a number with that.
Right, I can answer this.
okay.
The permits themselves are for Walnut Street to
Right.
begin with. All right, so we gave it-
You included me after.
I did,
after the
I did.
second double
Let me
take, you
finish.
included
Yeah,
us.
but you're saying all the residents. I'm gonna be real specific, all right? I listen, just,
Right,
I'm
that's
not
when I'm
arguing.
speaking to all residents,
Okay,
that's
you
what I'm
speak.
referring to. I'm not referring to like everybody on Walnut Street, like everybody on Baltimore Pike. I'm referring to the people in that neighborhood that park in that lot,
Okay.
and need the use of that lot.
I'm gonna be real clear.
Okay.
There's an ordinance that long before Tom got here, and you
I
know
get
it.
it, I understand
It's
that.
Walnut Street.
I
That's
get
the
it,
ordinance.
but there was also the same parking permit available to all the residents, and we would pay $20 for it, and we never had a problem, and we could get as many permits as we needed.
And
So now we're to one household, Tom. This is the issue, Tom.
I understand this.
Okay, understand? I got the whole backlog of what's going on with the parking lot. I don't need a history. Okay, I know, I've lived here 61 years.
Okay.
All right, I've been in that house for 38,
I understand.
all right? I'm telling you, I'm here as a citizen with a major concern. Yeah, there's only been one person in here for a permit, and you know why? Because you haven't started ticketing anybody yet. Okay, as soon as tickets go out, we're gonna see the number climb. It doesn't take an idiot to figure that out, okay? So all I'm asking is, how many permits can we provide per household? Before there was unlimited, now we're only allowed one. And it's like, and nowadays, nobody has one car in their household. No. Tell me, point somebody out, maybe except for like a widowed wife or an old lady who lost her husband, that's about it.
I have four.
You have 4 cars?
I have 4 cars.
Right,
I only have one spot.
I know.
My other 3 cars got to go down the street and 2 blocks away.
We don't even have it down the street.
I'm just saying,
We don't have it down the street.
but,
Baltimore Pike.
Yep.
We have Harrison Avenue.
and you have Walnut.
That's about it.
I mean, you know,
No, but that's what I'm saying. What's gonna end up happening, and I probably pointed this out to you earlier, was the fact that if we start parking in other neighborhoods, or we start parking on the street, it's only gonna inflame the neighborhood. It's gonna make it an ugly neighborhood out of something that doesn't have to actually take place. We don't have to go to that step. We should be able to come up with a solution that's gonna just void that whole possibility.
which we're working on.
Okay.
We didn't-
But we still are now going to receive tickets. Like, why don't we
I don't-
ease the ticket thing until we come up with a solution from you guys? I'm telling you, we had unlimited permits before and it worked. And it was only $20.
That's it. Time's up.
And maybe if not, maybe you can give a separate permit for people that only need to park there over the evenings. There's a lot of people come home and they park after dark, they'll go to work, they'll park until like 9 o'clock. I mean, they'll come home at 6 o'clock and park till the morning and be done with it. Maybe they could get a different permit. Maybe that's how we could ease all this. That's what I'm saying.
That's a stretch. I get it. That's
You have to
that's
do
a
it for
stretch. You know, that's,
That's a stretch, but the parking lot's 24 hours enforceable.
Okay.
That's what you told me the last time I was here.
Mhm.
So to ease the burden on the residents there.
Well-
I mean, we can do this. We can make a solution happen. We honestly can.
Well, part of this is trying to balance the resident needs in that area as well as the business needs in that
There
area.
really are no businesses.
But that's the reason that you didn't let me finish. I mean, there are no, the
There's not
businesses.
going to be any business.
That's your opinion, all right? We have businesses want to come here that look and say there's no parking.
Oh, really? Come
Okay.
on. During the
Let me
day,
ask you
it's wide
something.
open.
In all
During the day,
fairness,
it's wide open.
We're way beyond our 3 minutes. This is
But
really.
during the day, it's wide open, and when the sewing company was in there, they gave lessons all day long. They had 3 different times, and they used that parking lot, no problem.
Let me ask you something. In all fairness, Dave, what does a person on Cherry Street, Windcliff,
I get all that, Tom.
where do they park? Where do they park?
You know what, Tom, I don't know. where
All
they
right, but
park.
I'm saying, why would Walnut Street be any
but
different?
you're dropping this mess right in our laps.
I don't think so. We've
I
been talking about this
honestly
since
think
September.
so. I think it's gonna be a problem. I really honestly think it's gonna be a problem. We're gonna have over people parking in neighborhoods, that already need car. Like, if we go up to Harrison Avenue, for instance, how many parking spots are on Harrison Avenue? Not many. So now we're depriving them of their parking spot. Where are they gonna park? On Walnut Street when they can. It's just gonna create an issue. I mean, I'm not here to cause an issue. I just
No.
think that.
But we can't
the
make parking spots materialize.
But I'm telling you, it worked before. We had unlimited permits before in that same parking lot for $20.
and that's why there's no businesses on the pike.
There's no businesses
So-
on the pike because people don't, there's not any viable businesses to open there. What's gonna open there?
Well, we're working on it.
What's
You
gonna
know.
open there?
Nothing right now,
What
but
are
we're
those
working
parking
on it.
spots during the day? What are those parking
I
spots
don't
going
mean
to
to
be?
interrupt you, but we do need
Right.
to let others
Let
speak.
that-
And
but-
if you wanna speak after the meeting further, we're happy to do
Okay.
that. But if we could
Yeah.
allow anyone else who would
All I'm
like.
saying is just come up with a solution. That's all.
We're working on it. That's what I told you.
Right, you're working on it.
Would anyone else like?
But it's the agenda.
It's just Dave.
This is the agenda.
How you doing? My name's Dave Roman, 34 Walnut Street.
Okay.
My question is, okay, one permit per household. Fine, I get that. You only had 6 sold, you said.
No.
Are you guys even thinking about letting residents get a second permit, especially for the houses on the one side of the street, we don't have a driveway, and we can't park in front of our house, one Walnut Street, and everybody
now-
has more than one vehicle.
Well, we initially started out with one, and then since the Park Mobile began, we're up to 10 now.
Okay.
So, and like I said, we're trying to balance the providing availability for commercial parking during the day,
Right.
along with the residents. We are trying to revitalize the business district, and basically the feedback that we've gotten is there needs to be availability for parking in order to help with the
Okay, I
viability
understand
of the business.
that. What I was understanding is I have a permit for my truck, but that does not guarantee me a parking spot.
No, it just means that you don't have to pay like the $15 per day that you would have to pay for the meter.
So how about when my girlfriend comes home from work at nighttime, if she has a second permit for the household, she can park there. Now, we're not home during the day. You know, I mean, it would just give us a spot to be able to park and not get a ticket.
We wanted to start out with one per spot, and we're waiting to see how all of this unfolds. So we don't want to give 2, 3, 4 parking spots per household and then have other people show interest, and then that parking lot is full with permit parking, and then there's nothing available for the businesses. Because if you have a permit, you can park there all day long. And if
If you don't work.
the lot is full all day long, there's nowhere for people who want to visit the businesses to park. So like I said, the purpose of this is to try and balance the business and the residents. And it's something that's fluid, and it's something that we want to hear feedback. We want to keep looking at it and tweak. But we kind of have to see where things go before we can make like final.
You have
changes.
a time frame, maybe a month and a half
I-
to think about this, or no?
I mean, my recommendation to council, because of the interest in business that we've been trying to reach, when we meet with people, the town does not have enough parking to support the business, especially on the Pike. So if you we've evaluated 50% of the people there were residents then, and 50% were occupants of businesses. The corner store you see there in the morning is full. That quarter of that lot, people park there. Yeah, they park there. And if we have another business like Yummy's, or the VFW rents the hall out and there's no parking, they end up on the streets also, which impacts you in addition. You come home, you don't have it. So it's a balance, but we can't just arbitrarily just make the whole place a permanent parking lot. I mean, it's just, that's the balance we have to have. And I go back to, there's plenty of streets, probably 99% of the streets in Clifton Heights don't have the luxury of getting in permanent parking. So we have to balance out the business interest versus that. Now, one per house we thought was good. There's 7 driveways on that street. Right? And, that they should be in their driveways, and, neighbors gotta be neighbors. I live in Western Park. I park a block away, right, in the driveway. Now, just like, that guy sold the house, I found another guy, and, you have to communicate. Otherwise, I park on Crestwood, or I park on Oak, or I park on Whitehall. You live in a row house, that's part of the row house. But if we're trying to balance, we do have interest in people coming in to buy businesses here. But the first thing, even when they came here to look at a store on Baltimore Pike, everyone was parked on Baltimore Pike. So we did the Park Mobile. Now there are no cars, so you can bring a business in and try to, you're not going to stop in a store if you can't stop, right? You're going to just keep going. So it's a balance.
Now, I know I'm out of time, but you sent that flyer out, explaining everything, like, the calendar.
Mhm.
I thought the, Walnut Street is only from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then after that, you don't pay.
Yeah, it's 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and then permit only overnight. In other words, you can't pay overnight.
You can't pay overnight.
Overnight is strictly for those permits.
Okay, all right, then I misunderstood. All right, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the December 17th council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mr. Fagioli made the motion, Mr. Cannon second. Yes. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carried. I'll entertain a motion to approve the special minutes for the December 17th council meeting to discuss the CBDG grant application. Want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Borelli made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Braun seconded. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now we'll go on to the reports of the borough officers. First is the financial advisor.
Thank you, Madam President. You all have received the financial statements over the weekend. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Any questions for our financial advisor? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial advisor's report and pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mr. Fagioli made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cannon seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Resnick?
Yes.
Mr. Braun?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Swan?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Next is the police chief's report.
Madam President, in addition to my written report, at your request via email, I looked into a situation of tobacco sales on from minors that you were pointing out from a complaint from one of your constituents. We work with the Tobacco Compliance Center, which is a division of the Attorney General's office who oversees the tobacco retail sales.
Mhm.
We work with them regularly, probably three to four times a year, where we do. We completed a compliance check last week of the 14 retail tobacco establishments that were checked for compliance. 5 did fail for failure to request ID from an underage purchaser. So just so council knows, and you know that your complaints from your constituents aren't falling on deaf ears. You notified me of a complaint from your constituent. We were able to notify those specific agencies that would assist us in this. And as a result, those 5 retail businesses were cited and will have to appear in district court for those violations.
All right, any questions? All right, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to accept the police chief's report.
I will so move.
All right, Mr. Resnick made the motion. Ms. Borelli, do you want a second?
Sure, I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Fire chief.
I have nothing to add to my written report.
Any questions for the fire chief?
I have a point. Chief, I did speak to John McLean today in reference to the Crozier situation, to see if he can have a quick call with you just to make sure we're okay on the financial side of that. The recent thing about the Chapter 11 type issue.
Yeah, I'll talk to you after.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. I'll entertain a motion to accept the fire chief's report.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Ms. Borelli made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fagioli seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next is the engineer's report.
Thank you, Madam President. The Passive Park improvements, the contractor has been on site and continues to work. Weather permitting, he's going to pour sidewalk and the footers for the hero wall next week. The CDBG application was submitted. The application to restore and install new playground equipment at the McFadden Park was completed, submitted on time. The application was for $275,000. The sanitary sewer cleaning contracts, provided there is no objection, we will prepare the next 4-year period contract for sewer main cleaning and maintenance and solicit bids, and I expect to have those bids ready for your consideration at the February meeting. That's all I have unless your questions.
Good question. Do we have any negative results from the initial inspection that would need major attention, or is it?
From the sewer cleaning
Yeah, I know
contracts?
we took care of a lot of issues, but is there anything?
There's nothing major at this point. Anything that's observed, such as a brick or a block or, a problem, it's addressed immediately. So to date, we haven't had to excavate anything to fix anything identified through the cleaning.
I don't have to just continue the next maintenance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any questions for Mr. Kelly? All right. I'll entertain a motion to accept the engineer's report.
So moved.
Mr. Cannon made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Braun seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now we have the solicitor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. A couple items on the agenda there is I'm requesting council to approve a motion to move the borough manager from temporary part-time status to full-time status with a proposed employment agreement. When Mr. McCosey was appointed in March of 2021, it was on a temporary part-time status, which he has continued to work since that time, even though in reality, he has spent full-time work doing it. So as council discussed at the end of last year and during the budget process, we were looking to transition to a full-time status with a typical employment agreement for that. The second thing I had is it came up a couple of months ago where the borough had some animals that were unusual, I guess pigs and some chickens or whatnot that were in the borough. And when we went to look at that and regulate it, we determined that there were some holes in our ordinances relating to the regulation of animals where we did regulate them very well if they did bad things. There was nothing that really regulated the number of animals or the types of animals that you could have. So we did take a look and sort of, pick the best pieces of local ordinances to deal with animals. So you have before you a proposed ordinance that I think pretty much covers every situation that we'll have. Some of the highlights are regarding the number of animals. We propose limiting that to 4 total. So you can have 4 cats, you can have 4 dogs, you can have 2 cats, 2 dogs. So that would take care of that piece of it. In terms of the problems that came up with the types of animals that are there, we do have a list of animals that are permitted. We have a list of animals that are prohibited. For some of the things such as fowl, including chickens or geese or something like that, we do permit it. However, it's subject to a minimum size requirement in terms of where you keep them. So basically, you would need an acre in order to have a coop, and that would have to be located at least 100 feet away from any other structure. So, therefore not eliminating, the keeping of chickens, but realistically in Clifton Heights, making it, you've got to have a good sized space to be away from your neighbors in order to have it. Same with a horse, you allow for that, but I think the minimum there is 5 acres. So if somebody wants to buy land and dedicate 5 acres, you can see a horse. That's what we propose in terms of rather than just simply eliminating all sort of types of animals. Again, it's not likely to occur given the current land use in the borough, but we provide for it. There are other provisions relating to dangerous dogs where we echo the state law relating to dangerous dogs and the police interaction with that. Certainly sanitation and any bad behavior by animals are all addressed in here. rabies situations. Would be new to our ordinances, how to specifically handle them in conformity with our current state laws, requiring vaccinations, and duties of veterinarians. There's provisions here for any businesses if we get a pet shop, licensing of the pet shop and requirements for that. Again, there's certainly provisions relating to dogs and cats, which is 99% of the animals that we deal with. And, hopefully we address all the types of things that we don't like about the keeping of dogs and cats. There again, we prohibited exotic animals, and there's a list. And every time, if you were to read the list, you kind of laugh. Snow leopards are prohibited, and you think, well, geez, McBlain, no one's ever going to have a snow leopard, and as soon as I leave it off, there'll be a snow leopard, somebody will have. So we do have that, and also it empowers the Board of Health to certainly take action where we have problematic situations. I have had, not in this borough, thankfully, but in other places, situations where you come across a person that's got 40-some cats in their house. And so we want to have enforcement, be able to take some type of enforcement action. So I think like I said, I think it covers everything that we were looking to cover. Doesn't just simply prohibit everything in the world, but certainly throws up, for those types of semi-farm animals that you do see occasionally, that at least you have to have a good amount of land, in order to keep them. And that seemed like a reasonable way to approach it. So we have that. And then,
Can I have a question on that, John?
Mhm.
Suppose you have somebody who today owns a pig, and under your ordinance, when it goes into effect, it's illegal. Are they gonna be able to say, I'm grandfathered in?
no, I think we can enforce this. As the law changes, I think we would try to work. I'm just from a very practical standpoint, try to work with that person. The one pig situation, I think, was resolved.
Yeah, it was resolved. So
I think they went away. So hopefully we don't have any of that.
With the limitations, what about situations where you have people who might work with a rescue and they might be fostering? And like they have a litter of kittens and there's like 6 or 7 kittens and things of that nature.
Well, there's the limitation of 4 is for animals 6 months and older.
Okay.
So if you have a dog and it's got a litter of puppies, that's okay until they're older. If they are running a business, like I said, there is. I used the idea of a pet shop, but any business that has animals, there are regulations here for a kennel.
They're like a nonprofit, like we'll say like Delco Dogs or something like that, where they might be fostering.
Yeah, and I've actually represented Delco Dogs, so I'm sympathetic to them. But also, on the other hand, somebody saying we're fostering and then having 10 dogs is 2 different things. There can be a license depending on the situation that would be approved by the Board of Health for what they're doing. I think Delco Dogs themselves, I know them well, and we've come up against that situation, and I know sometimes they don't. But if you have 10 animals, if you're keeping 4, you're fostering. If you have 10, you have a kennel. So they would need to get a kennel license.
Do you have other questions?
Are you done? I'm done.
All right. So we need to do a motion for the manager and then a motion for your report, correct?
Yes, for the manager, and then it's listed under the manager's report. I didn't know if Mr. Picozzi had any further comment on the ordinance, but
Mhm.
whether you entertain it now or during his report, doesn't make a difference.
Okay,
Do the animal one together, doing both under John's report is okay.
okay. All right. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the borough manager from part-time to full-time with an agreement.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Cannon made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second,
Mr. Resnick seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Resnick?
yes.
Mr. Braun?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Swan?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
All right, and then next is I'll entertain a motion for the consideration of adoption ordinance regulating animals, amending chapter 98 of the Borough Code.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Ms. Borelli made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Mr. Fagioli seconded. Do we need to do a roll call or just?
No.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Also entertain a motion to accept the solicitor's report.
I so move.
All right, Mr. Resnick made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Braun seconded. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next is community development and code enforcement.
Thank you, Madam President. In your package, there are actually three reports. One is the December 2024 report for code enforcement, one is the yearly report for the activity of the department for 2024, and the other is the report from the Office of Emergency Management.
Any questions for Mr. Gould? Entertain a motion to accept community development and code enforcement report.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mr. Fagioli made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Swan seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next is the manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First one would be a motion to approve resolution to appoint the borough auditors, John R. Hanna and Sons LLC, for audit year 2024. They've been doing our audit and they do an excellent job, so I would highly recommend that we do that as a requirement. They call it code.
She knows.
You need a motion on that.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve a resolution to appoint borough auditors, John Hanna and Sons, for audit year 2024.
I will so move.
All right, Mr. Resnick made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cannon second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Second is motion to reappoint Joseph Lombardo to a 5-year term as zoning board member. He has indicated he wishes to remain on the zoning hearing board.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Joe Lombardo for a 5-year term as zoning board member.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Ms. Burley made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Braun seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Next one will be a motion to reappoint Michelle Mont to a 5-year term as the planning committee member, and she has also accepted, requested to remain on the board. These are both existing.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to reappoint Michelle Mott to a 5-year term as a planning committee member.
I'll make the motion.
All right, Mr. Swan made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Mr. Fagioli seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
I just want to read the record. That term goes to January 1, 2030.
Okay.
Just so when we reappoint, we have the right dates.
All right.
Consideration for adoption. That John did that one. A motion to approve a 3 years 3 and 4 of the snow removal contract with A&U Services, affixing the dates January 21, 2025 to April 15, 2025, and December 1, 2025 to April 26, 2025. This is a award that we did last year for year one. We're now in the year 2 and 3. I'm sorry, yeah, 2 and 3. And the prices are fixed. Original bid, and I believe they're included in your package. We used them 4 hours on the first storm and 4 hours on the second storm. And they usually come in when we get above 3 inches, just to help us out, give us a hit, and then they go back out. Now we're on snow. Our guys did a great job of it. The last 2 storms, and particularly this one here, was a little bit, particularly in the middle of an Eagles game. So that would be a motion.
Okay.
Can I just comment?
Okay, which way?
And I know, and Mr. McCosy and I had talked, and I think the dates here got a little bit off track. And I think that was really just a typo from last year. Council, if you recall, in February of 2024, or at that meeting, we awarded the contract for the first year based upon the bids that had gone out at that point in time. And I think in previous years, it had been from basically a calendar year, was the year of the contract. And the thought was, and I think it was a good thought at the time, was that rather than these things be bidding them in the middle of basically the snow season, we should adjust it so that it goes out to April 15th, where presumably the snow would be over. So I think last year, year one was meant to be from February of 2024 to April of April 1st, April 15th, 2025.
I agree.
Okay, so that would have been year one. So what we're asking you to do now is extend it for year two, which will be April the 15th, 2025 through April 15th, 2026. We initially awarded a 1-year contract with an option for Borough Council to exercise for years 2 and 3. So we're asking to exercise the option for year 2 at this point in time, which would take us from April the 15th, 2025 to April the 15th, 2026. So it was a good idea at the time. I apologize for the confusion. But we were talking today with those dates, I think just got off track a little bit.
So just to be clear on the minutes, for Chris's application, we're really only doing year 2 at this point, correct?
We're asking council to exercise our option to award the contract for year 2, again, to ADU Services for the period of April 15th, 2025 through April 15th, 2026.
Okay. Clear on that, Chris?
I am.
Okay.
Okay, so. So April 15th, 2025 to April 15th, 2026, right?
Yes.
All right. So entertain a motion to extend the snow removal contract an additional year for ADU Services from April 15th, 2025 to April 15th, 2026.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Cannon made the motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, Mr. Faggio, or I'm sorry, Mr. Swan seconded. And we'll do a roll call vote.
Yes.
And we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Resnick?
Yes.
Mr. Braun?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli? Yes. Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Swan?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
The final one is a motion to approve a 3-year police contract for the FOP Lodge 27, effective January 1, 2025, December 31, 2027. And that would be obviously subject to solicitor's approval. I'd like, if Suzanne can talk about the merits of the contract, and I'll go over some finances. I know the mayor wants to say something as well. So Suzanne?
So with the contract, basically the primary feedback that we received was to try and make the salaries in Clifton Heights more competitive with other neighboring boroughs. So basically we looked to reach as close as we could to that within our fiscal ability. So we proposed a 3-year contract with 3.75 raises over the next 3 years. And that's what we agreed upon with the FOP.
All right, so the borough has the cost in front of them. The money's in the budget this year, and we'll budget it obviously for the next two. So that would be a motion. I don't know if the mayor wants, mayor would participate in some of the.
Yeah, I mean, we're very happy with the contract that we offered the police department. I believe the police department's very happy with what they received. You know, in my opinion, we have the best chief of police in all Delco, and our police officers are always number one. I'm privy to other boroughs, and I see the problems that other boroughs have with their police departments. You can just look at Collingdale and the mess that's happening down there. We don't, you know, we're super lucky here to have the police department that we have. So it's a well-deserved contract for them. Very, very proud of Tom McCosey and Suzanne Brittis for what they did with the contract. It was very important to all of us to get this done. So I'm very happy with it.
One of the things I think is important the council approved is a line of duty death. We never had a line of duty death benefit for the spouses and the children. And in this contract, we were able to work out with the FOP that in the case of a line of duty death, the officer's wife and family members, well, children, would receive the same benefits as if the police officer was alive. I think it's important in today's age. It was just never addressed, and it's been addressed now, and it'll be in the contracts in the future. There's provisions in there, and the benefit cost this year for Blue Cross Blue Shield did go up, and we were able to absorb that in the cost of the contract. We're very competitive now with the other boroughs, and we'll be out the next opening, which hopefully we don't have any soon. We will be able to be very competitive with the classes coming out again. Police officers, you know, when I was in this business, you'd have 120 young, 21-year-old whippersnapper taking a test. Last time, what we have done, we had 7 applicants. So it's not a career. Hopefully it gets back to being a good career that people want to get involved with. But the salaries does matter because you're competing against towns like Radnor, Upper Darby, who have the larger salaries and larger departments for opportunity. So we're fortunate to have a great force, and I think this reflects our appreciation to the FOP and to the officers. So I need a motion. That would be.
So a motion to approve the 3-year police contract FOP Lodge 27 effective January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2027, subject to the solicitor's approval.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Braun made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Cannon seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Resnick?
Yes.
Mr. Braun?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Swan?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I have
Madam
the report.
President, if I can express the rank and file appreciation to this council regarding the negotiation practices that we had over the last couple of months with Mr. McCosey, the mayor, and yourself, and the negotiating committee. And I can say for myself, and I think I speak for the rank and file, that we are very happy with the proposal the council gave us. And, you know, it was a very easy situation for us to ratify on our end. So our appreciation goes to the council for making this a streamlined process.
Thank you. We appreciate all of you guys. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to accept the manager's report.
So moved.
Mr. Cannon made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Borelli seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next, we have council reports. Mr. Swan?
The only thing, I think the borough did a great job cleaning up the streets and keeping everything safe. Police, fire, everybody. We're very lucky here. So just want to thank everybody involved.
Mr. Resnick?
I'm sorry I was late. Otherwise, I've got to report.
All right. Mr. Fagioli?
Just want to say everything with the borough cleaning it up and everything.
Thank you.
Mr. Cannon?
Just one thing, I think all of us understand the concern of the residents on Walnut Street in the Second Ward. And I would hope that they also understand that council is, as well as the borough manager, is, it's a delicate balance, to provide, parking for the residents and at the same time to try to provide enough parking so that businesses will come into this community. I think all of us know when we ride down Baltimore Avenue, it's not the way we would like it to look. We would like to see more small businesses there. I think the residents need to know we are working on other situations to help those businesses and others with a parking situation. And that will be coming forth. And I just want to say, I hope that the residents are patient with all of us and the fact that we need to draw businesses to the borough because it will help alleviate a burden on the taxpayers.
Thank you. Mr. Braun?
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Mr. Riley?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Okay. No, I'll echo everybody's sentiment. Thank you to our highway department for their snow removal efforts. People seem pleased overall with the condition of our roads with the weather that we've had. So thank you very much to our highway department. And I do not have anything additional to report tonight. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, so talking about the snow on the roads, I mean, we knew Friday that the storm's coming in Sunday. I know Tom is constantly on that with the borough guys and our contractors. So thanks to Tom McCosey we just made him full-time, but he's really 24/7, 7 days a week here. There's always something going on. There's always, we're always texting each other. Same thing with the chief of police. So great job to those guys and the two guys that work for the borough. This Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. is an e-cycle and shredding right here at the Borough Hall. So if you have any of your old taxes and stuff like that, you want that shredded up, that's free to everybody in the borough that lives in the borough. January the 17th is a Friday, PAL signups. This is for baseball and softball. Details are at CliftonHeightsPal.com. So if you got young guys that want to start the baseball, softball, just go under that website and signups will start January the 17th. That is it for me. Thank you, Madam President.
Any old business? Any new business? Okay. We will open the floor to public participation. 3 minutes, if you could please give your name and address.
How you doing, Madam, again? I just would like to be able to pick up
Just for the record, name and address.
David DeFilippo,
We all know you, but, and your address.
19 North Springfield Road.
Thank you.
Personally, I would just like to be able to pick up all the, the ins and the outs of the parking lot, like what time we are required to pay for parking in that lot. Because I actually am going to go door to door. I'd like to be more informed when I present this to the residents on the block, as to start to spread rumors and all that. So I just would like to know just the ins and the outs, like what time are we required to pay for parking? We only have one permit, whatever the flow.
It's not even posted up on the lot.
It is posted on a lot?
It's time for permit and then both permit and paid and then permit only. Permit only is generally.
So it's, where would I find that? Over the
Up on the
kiosk?
fence, yeah, on the fence line.
Over the kiosk?
Hey, did you get a calendar, man?
Yes.
In the calendar was an actual posting at the time, so we have plenty right outside here, you can pick them up.
Okay, yeah, I just was curious, because I'd rather spread real information than false information. I want to go blabbing, this is what I think it is. I'd rather have the facts, okay? All right, thank you. Looking forward to working with you, so.
All right.
Appreciate it.
I know my name's Ed Jones. I'm at 214 North Sycamore Street. I'd just like to talk about the 200 block of North Sycamore Street. I'd like to complain about the traffic on that street. I know the chief is always pull everybody over the stop sign on Orange Street. For the last 7 months, my car has been hit twice by one of the drunk driver at 12:30 at night. And 2 weeks ago, the car hit my car, distracted driving, probably on the phone, speeding. And I told a few of my neighbors, and they come out and get an accident, but my thing is, I mean, nobody does a speed limit. Speed limit is posted at 20 miles an hour. On my street, they blow the stop sign, they blow it down to south and north. We have a lot of traffic there, which I don't think Sycamore can handle all that traffic through there during the day with buses coming through, construction vehicles, not from the field, but from other, coming from, I guess Bishop Avenue down to Springfield Road. So, a lot of my neighbors, talk about speed bumps. I know we talked about that before. I said if one street wants it, everybody wants it. But if you look through at the town, there's a lot of one-way streets that accommodate a lot of one-way coming from Oak Avenue to Springfield. There's all one-way streets there. Broadway is pretty much wide, so they can handle that traffic coming from Springfield all the way down to Jackson, down to Palmer Pike. So a lot of residents, my neighbors like to maybe try to do speed bumps on our street to slow down drivers and, make them more aware instead of looking at their phones when they're driving up our street. And because now we have a school being built there, so we got a lot more kids on the street. We got to make them aware of, we got speed bumps, they're going to slow down, maybe 20 miles an hour through there. So,
Hey,
yeah.
not to cut you off, I've heard about your thing. I forgot to bring this up on my report. I'm not glad you had the accident. I'm glad you brought it up. I spoke to JP Kelly because I go home that way and I can see it. And I spoke to JP Kelly. I've been watching that. There's a slight curve in that road. And I asked JP to do a traffic study for there as before the school opens, and then we'll do one after so we know what the impact will be. And as well, and we have a traffic engineer. So he's already done some preliminary on the school, but I want to see where it happens after, where it goes after they drive down there. Where are they heading? They head to Bishop Avenue, they heading, where they go.
Well, the first guy had to, he was.
I know where he was going, right. But he got lost. But the other thing I did ask him to do, which I don't know what, we had a good conversation about it, is potentially widening where that curve is into the right of way. See, he's checking to see where the right of ways are, which is the borough has a right of way. As you come down Sycamore, there's just that slight right at your house, actually, that kind of butts out where you have the cone.
Of course.
Yeah, right. I know, but I asked him, and he's going to take that up, and I'll sit down with you guys. We have to do something. The other thing that we did do is during the school discussions, we tried to get a pork chop to the right coming out of the school where the traffic's coming to get them down there, because that's the only way they can go, was make a right towards Springfield Road.
Yeah.
JP has worked on widening that section and actually putting an island in the middle so that they cannot make a left.
Okay.
As a traffic, it's like inhibitors, I forget what they call them.
Yeah, delineators.
You want to explain a little bit what we're
Yeah,
trying to
anybody
explain
leaving
here?
the school property has to make a right down to Springfield. You can't make a left here. Anybody leaving, so there's delineators, there's going to be no left signs. So it's going to be prohibited to make a left if you're leaving the school.
Well, I get all that, but right now, we're not at that point yet.
Right.
Our car's been hit twice already, so.
But yeah, as Mr. Riccozzi said, we're going to look into that immediately. We've already started, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
So we can determine what we can do to help improve that situation. And whether or not there's some traffic calming devices we can put in. You've mentioned speed bumps,
Yeah.
but they're called speed humps these
Bump,
days.
bump.
Big difference.
To show you, we have that, there's a state PennDOT highway regulation on whether we can put them in or not. And there has to be distance. That's what I'm looking at. How much distance there is between stop signs and the next stop. There's a whole regulation on it.
If you look at this car, they're taking
Yeah.
that up.
I didn't say the state was right. I just said,
I know.
I got it. So that was the first thing I talked about with JP last month when I saw it. I said, we got to figure out something here. So
Yeah.
he's on it. So I'll keep in touch with you for sure.
Hey, Ed, it's definitely on our radar. I mean, we've been talking it for months too. A lot of school districts are putting in a speed hump. So it's a little easier to plow than a speed bump because the bumps are higher and a hump is a little bit lower, but not just you, many residents have called me and asked the same thing on Sycamore, Windcliff, and Oak. So it's definitely on our radar. We're definitely going to be looking at it and trying to figure out something, right? We're gonna have to do something. Okay, so it's not too far off. About-
I only have one car. so I'm not
Right.
about to-
No, I know. It's a big concern. I get it. Yep.
I just have one more thing I want to ask about, down the mill in Sycamore. If you look up on the hill there, everybody's doing a lot of dumping there. I see a lot of couches up there, stuff like that. I'm hoping they address that. I'm not sure that's Clifton or Upper Darby Township or,
It's up in Darby Township. We have been in touch with the Public Works Director and Health Department.
Okay, so I was wondering.
Upper Darby went to the county health department, so it's a little convoluted, but we're trying to get them to get that
I
built.
was driving by there, like, you know.
We cited anybody on our side,
Okay.
picked up on our side, but it's becoming more and more just a dump.
I'll go to the center. What's that? Well, okay, that's all I have. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Ed.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Or make that motion.
All right, Ms. Farley made the motion, do I have a second? Mr. Cannon seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.